jak ja młodym chłopcem byłem, dobrze w szkole się uczyłem. Oj dana, dana, oj dana, oj dana. Dobrze w szkole się uczyłem, oj dana, oj dana, dana, oj dana, oj dana. Dobrze w szkole się...
We're about to make Babi and Pop-Pop's pierogies. We already did 5 pounds of potatoes. Pop-Pop peeled 5 pounds of potatoes. They're on the stove boiling with a tablespoon of salt.
Right.
And he's going to cook them until they're soft but not mushy.
Which they are right now. They're just dry.
So we'll drain them and then we'll mash them in our mixer. I already sauteed 3 medium onions and diced them and put in a stick of oleo. So when we mash the potatoes, we'll put in the onion, and we grated some sharp cheese. We like to use the Cooper sharp cheese. We grate it and we put it in with the potatoes when they're hot and mash them all together. We drain the potatoes, save the potato water because we'll use that in the dough. We'll add the sauteed onions and butter and the grated cheese. We grated, I think we have 16 ounces of grated cheese there.
And we use this beater. Stir out very gently so that it doesn't scatter all over the place.
After the potatoes are mashed, we'll put them in a pan so they cool, and they must cool almost completely, and then I make them into potato balls. I put them on cookie sheets with the paper towel on underneath, and then they'll be ready for when we make the dough.
Mixed. Now the next task is to get them spread out so that they'll cool as quickly as we can get them to cool, so that we can work with them to make potato balls. We're ready to make our first batch of dough. And the ingredients for making dough is 6 cups of flour, 1 3/4 cups of potato water, warm, 2 eggs,
Half a cup oil.
a half a cup of oil, and a teaspoon of salt. So we take 6 cups of flour. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we take an extra cup of flour to hold in case we, depending on the texture of the dough, after we mix it, sometimes we have to add a little bit of flour to improve the texture.
Put a teaspoon of salt in.
You did?
I did.
Okay,
And a half a cup of oil.
right. And I'm going to take
2 eggs.
I'm taking the hot potato water and adding just a little bit of cold tap water. That's 1 cup, and I'm going to add another 3/4 cup. With just a smidgen of water, cold water. Okay, we have all the ingredients. We use the regular dough beer. After a while, you'll know just about what texture is. Now, I'm hoping that's good dough. That's ready to roll out and make the pierogi. The next step is to make the potato balls. And only Bobby does that.
I'm getting ready to make potato balls and put the potato balls on here until we're ready to make the pierogis. With the teaspoon, I take a teaspoon of the potatoes, make them into balls, and line them up. When we make them for Christmas and Easter, we usually use 15 to 20 pound of potatoes. This is just 5 pound. And we start right after we come home from church in the morning. That's about 8:30. And we're usually done 6:30. Completely. Kitchen cleaned and everything else. Bagged.
Because she has such a good dishwasher and a cleaner upper. Because till she's done making pierogi, she's dead tired. I am too, but I have to finish up doing the dishes and cleaning up the kitchen. Okay, now we're about ready to actually make the pierogi. I'm going to roll out the dough and cut the circles so that Bobby can fill the dough with potato and form the pierogi, or the pierogi. Now all I need for this is a rolling pin, some flour, and the cutter. I sprinkle some flour on the table. I spread out the dough. And I roll it. I take the cutter and just by twisting, I cut out a circle. And Bobby takes that circle. She takes a potato ball. And this is the art of making a pierogi. Pinching it so that it doesn't fall apart when you put it in the boiling water to cook them. And that is our initial pierogi. Okay, the next step to making our pierogi is cooking them. We have 2 pots of water on the stove and they come to a real rolling boil. We've added oil, a little bit of oil to each pot of water. Now we have to prepare our sink. I fill the sink with ice cubes. And I let cold water run on them. Now Bobby placed approximately 15 pierogi in each pot of boiling water. When the pierogi come to the top of the water, we boil them for
5 minutes.
5 minutes. I'm getting the oleo ready for the pierogi. After we boil them and let them cool for a while, dry them on this rack after they've dipped into the ice water and let drain to dry. We put them on here, let them dry a little more. We dab them with paper towel and I melt the oleo and we then take the pierogi and put them in that melted oleo.
I take them out with a slotted spoon, put them in this pan of cold water. Drain them into this colander. And this should be cold, filled with ice water. And we put them into it. Okay. I drain these from the cold water.
Paper towel. Oh, I'll get this. And then we lightly dab them and then turn them over.
See, now this one was pulled a little bit too much. See it? That was pulled too much. They're the ones we eat.
And we dab them. Then we put them in the butter.
Watch that, I have to see what time it is.
Now, in the meantime, either Bobby or I get Ziploc bags and place a styrofoam plate in each bag. Getting the ready, and then we put a dozen pierogi. When they are done in the butter, we put a dozen in each bag. And then we're done.
We're finished.
Six. You have to know how to count.
Count to 12.
Right from the beginning, we knew what size to get. A number 4. In fact, at one time they were a 4C. And I used to get them at Garrity's or any one of the local supermarkets. Right now, Price Chopper, the butcher is very nice. I just asked him, and he knows why I asked for them. He knows we're making pierogi. And he says, how many you want? No problem. He says, you know, that last dozen you brought me down were delicious. I never took a better. Preparing the pierogi for the meal, we take them out of the freezer and lay them all out on a table so that they thaw, because they're pretty well frozen. So we thaw them, then
in the containers.
yeah, just take them out and leave them in their containers until they thaw. Then we take them out of the containers, put them in the baking dish, and do you put the onions?
I put a little sauteed onions in oleo, and I put them in the oven, covered. The microwave, I usually use them. No, the oven for the Christmas food.
Yeah.
We put them in the oven and put them on a low heat until I put them in earlier because we're doing so much of the other food, so this way they're taken care of.
Jak ja młodym chłopcem byłem, dobrze w szkole się uczyłem. Oj dana, dana, oj dana, dobrze w szkole się uczyłem.